And as Israelis face ongoing missile attacks from Iran, the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has warned that his country's military offensive against Tehran was not done yet. He says the operation was degrading the nation's clerical leadership. Let's cross now to France 24's Olivia Bizot, who's in Jerusalem. Olivia, the Israeli Prime Minister, telling the media that the war with Iran is not done yet. Certainly a very different stance to what we've been hearing from Donald Trump.
Yes, that's right. Netanyahu has said that this war could last longer than what Donald Trump is saying. But I think it's important to mention as well that Israel is fighting a war on two different fronts. You have the war against Iran and you also have the war against Hezbollah in Lebanon. Now, this morning I was speaking to an analyst who told me that the war against Hezbollah will likely last a lot longer, quite simply because in Iran, the Israelis are fighting alongside the Americans who want this war to end as soon as possible. And this means that they are coordinating with the Americans very closely. Whereas in Lebanon, she told me, the Israelis are sort of, operating alone, so they sort of have free rein to do what they want. The French, for example, warned Israel not to bomb southern Lebanon, but they've largely and completely ignored those warnings. Israeli officials have also said that the war against Hezbollah will last a lot longer than the one in Iran. And I think it's important to note also that a majority of Israelis do support this war against Iran. Polls that came out last week show that 80% of the population support this war. Many see it as an existential threat. And I've spoken to a lot of people here who've, said, why was this not done before? There are a few voices of dissent, but not that many. Last weekend, I was at a protest here in Jerusalem where dozens of people gathered to protest against this war and Netanyahu. One woman told me that she believes that Netanyahu is likely using this war as a distraction from the corruption trial against him and as a way of boosting polls ahead of elections due this year. But those voices are still a minority, unlike the war in Gaza, which greatly divided the Israeli population. Most people do support this war.
And you've just returned from northern Israel. What did you find there?
Yes, that's right. I spent the day yesterday in northern Israel, very close to the border with Lebanon. Throughout the day, I heard missile strikes, interceptions, and drones flying overhead. Now, across the border into Lebanon, I saw hundreds of buildings that were completely destroyed. The Israeli authorities have issued evacuation orders for around 700,000 people in southern Lebanon. And what's interesting here is that they've said that it's to protect people in the north of the country. But after the 7th of October attack, they issued evacuation orders for hundreds of thousands of Israelis. This time, they haven't issued any evacuation orders in the north of the country. I went to communities with my team along very close to the border with Lebanon. And there I met a woman called Ron who evacuated after the October the 7th attack. Her and her family moved back in March of last year, and she told me she doesn't want to leave again, that she trusts the Israeli defense systems to defend her and her family, and that she believes that this war will protect her children in the long run and will enable them to live in the community down the line.